Sex didn't make her stay. And that's the part most men never see coming. Folks, if you've been here long enough, you know the pattern. The chemistry was strong. The night was intense. You did everything right. And then a few days later, her energy shifts. Replies get shorter. Plans get vague. Eventually, she fades. That moment hits hard because you're left wondering how something that felt so real could disappear so fast. My friend, I'm not here to comfort you. I'm here to wake you up. Sex alone doesn't create attachment. Excitement alone doesn't make a woman bond. And confidence alone doesn't keep her emotionally connected. There's something deeper at play, something happening inside her nervous system that most men completely overlook. In this video, I'm going to show you the one thing that turns women on more than sex itself. It's not flashy. It's not talked about on dating apps. And it's backed by real science, not wishful thinking. When you understand this, you'll finally see why some men leave a lasting imprint, while others, even great lovers, are easily forgotten. This isn't about manipulation. It's about self-mastery, stoic control, and learning how to create a presence that her body and mind feel safe returning to. Once you see it, you can't unsee it, and your relationships will never feel the same again. Let's get into it. Number 1. Why sex isn't enough. Let's be honest, folks, because this is where most men get blindsided. Sex feels like the finish line. The chemistry was there. The night was intense. Her body responded. Your mind tells you that meant something, and yet days later she pulls back. Less warmth, less effort. Sometimes she disappears completely. That confusion isn't bad luck. It's misunderstanding how attraction actually bonds. Here's the truth, my friend. Sex creates stimulation, not attachment. It lights up the body, but it doesn't anchor the nervous system. And without that anchor, desire burns hot and fades fast. This is why so many men do everything right physically and still get left behind emotionally. Think about Daniel, 45, confident, financially stable, recently divorced. He meets Sarah, 39, smart, attractive, emotionally aware. Their connection escalates quickly. The sex is passionate. Daniel assumes that intimacy equals closeness. But after a few days, Sarah becomes distant. From Daniel's perspective, nothing went wrong. From Sarah's body, nothing settled. Now compare that with another situation. Mark, 52, dating Lisa, 47. The physical connection is there, but Mark doesn't rush to turn sex into meaning. He stays grounded, calm, present. After intimacy, he doesn't seek reassurance or closeness to soothe himself. He lets space exist. Lisa feels something different, not excitement, relief, safety. Her nervous system settles instead of spiking. That's why she stays. Sex spikes dopamine. Dopamine is excitement, anticipation, craving. It feels amazing, but it's unstable. Stoicism teaches us to be wary of things that control us through intensity. Dopamine does exactly that. It creates hunger, not grounding. When the spike drops, the body looks for the next hit or pulls away. Attachment comes from something else. It comes from regulation. When a woman feels emotionally regulated around you, her body associates you with calm, not chaos. That's the bond most men never learn to create. Here's where men misinterpret things. They think a strong sexual response means deep attraction. In reality, it often means the opposite. High stimulation without emotional grounding can feel unsafe afterward. Her body doesn't say, "I want more." It says, "I need distance." Consider Jason, 38, dating Emily, 35. Jason is charming, passionate, and intense. Emily enjoys the sex, but afterward she feels unsettled. Jason talks more. He seeks closeness. Emily feels pressure she can't explain. She pulls away. Not because the sex was bad, but because it didn't leave her regulated. Contrast that with Tom, 50, reconnecting with his wife Anna, 48. Tom used to think passion alone would reignite attraction. When he shifted to being steady, emotionally contained and calm after intimacy, Anna's behavior changed. She stayed present. She initiated more. Her body felt safe staying close. Stoic philosophy aligns perfectly here. Epictetus taught that the strongest man is not the one who overwhelms others with force, but the one who governs himself. When you are regulated, you regulate the space around you. That's what bonds. Sex isn't enough because it doesn't answer the deeper question her nervous system is asking. Do I feel safe here? When the answer is yes, attachment forms naturally. When it's no, desire fades no matter how good the sex was. If this hit close to home, drop this in the comments to lock it in. I understand now. Stay with me. You won't want to miss what comes next, because the next part reveals the exact feeling women crave more than pleasure itself. Number 2. The feeling she craves most. Let's get precise here, folks, because this is where confusion clears up. The feeling she craves most is not excitement, it's not intensity, and it's definitely not constant stimulation. What she craves is regulation. The sense that her nervous system can settle in your presence without going numb or going on edge. Here's the truth, my friend. Excitement is easy to create. Loud energy, fast moves, sexual escalation, emotional highs. That all spikes dopamine. Dopamine feels good, but it's unstable. It rises fast and crashes just as fast. What the body remembers long after the moment ends is not excitement. It's how safe or unsafe it felt afterward. This is why sex alone doesn't anchor attraction. Sex can overwhelm the nervous system if there's no emotional steadiness beneath it. When stimulation fades, her body asks a simple question: do I feel calm here? If the answer is no, distance follows. Stoicism has been pointing to this for centuries. Seneca wrote that true pleasure comes from a tranquil mind, not from excess. Tranquility is regulation. It's the ability to remain centered regardless of intensity. When you embody that, others feel it. The feeling she craves most is emotional grounding, a state where she doesn't have to manage your reactions, anticipate your moods, or stabilize your insecurity. When she senses that you are emotionally self-contained, her nervous system relaxes. Relaxation creates trust. Trust creates attachment. Most men think women want more emotion. In reality, they want less emotional volatility. They don't want to carry your anxiety. They don't want to soothe your uncertainty. They want to feel held by your steadiness, not tasked with maintaining it. Marcus Aurelius said that the soul becomes dyed by the color of its thoughts. Your emotional state colors the space around you. If you are calm, deliberate and grounded, that color spreads. If you are anxious, reactive or intense without control, that spreads too. Another key point is presence. Emotional regulation is felt most clearly when you are present without trying to fix, impress, or steer the moment. Listening without interrupting, responding without rushing, allowing silence without filling it. Those behaviors communicate strength without words. This is where many men misread vulnerability. Vulnerability without self-regulation feels heavy. It feels like emotional leakage. True vulnerability is controlled openness. It is sharing without collapsing. Stoicism supports this balance. Epictetus taught that strength is shown not in what you feel, but in how you govern those feelings. When a woman experiences this kind of regulation with you, something shifts internally. Her body associates you with relief. Relief is powerful. Relief is addictive. Relief creates longing. Not the desperate kind, but the quiet pull to return to what feels right. This is also why men who are calm after intimacy create deeper bonds. They don't seek reassurance, they don't overtalk, they don't tighten the connection out of fear. They let the moment land. That landing is what her body remembers. Here's the takeaway, folks. The feeling she craves most is not pleasure, it's peace without boredom. calm without emptiness, safety without weakness. When you offer that through self-mastery, attraction stops being fragile and starts becoming stable. If this resonates with you, lock it in by commenting this below. I bring calm. Stay with me. You won't want to miss what's next, because the next part explains exactly how chemistry hijacks desire and why it rarely creates lasting bonds. Number 3. Dopamine versus real desire. This is where most men get fooled by their own experiences, folks, so pay attention. Dopamine feels like desire, but it isn't the same thing. Dopamine is excitement, real desire is attachment. And confusing the two is why so many intense connections burn out fast. Here's the truth, my friend. Dopamine is the chemical of anticipation. It spikes when something is new, risky, sexual, or unpredictable. It's what makes the first dates electric. It's what makes the sex feel urgent and addictive. But dopamine doesn't create bonds. It creates hunger. And hunger always looks for the next hit. Think about Eric, 37, confident, charming, dating around after a breakup. He meets Amanda, 34. Their chemistry is explosive. Late nights, intense conversations, passionate sex. Eric assumes this level of excitement means something deep is forming. But after a few weeks, Amanda starts pulling back. She says she's confused. What really happened is simple. The dopamine rush peaked, then dropped. And there was nothing underneath it to hold her. Now look at a different dynamic. Paul, 51, dating Rebecca, 48. The attraction grows slower. The sex is good but not frantic. What stands out is how Rebecca feels afterward. Calm, settled, grounded. Paul doesn't chase reassurance. He doesn't escalate intensity to keep the spark alive. Weeks later, Rebecca realizes she thinks about Paul more than anyone else. That's real desire forming. Dopamine creates urgency. Real desire creates return. One makes her crave the moment. The other makes her crave you. Here's why this matters. Dopamine-driven attraction makes women feel alive during the experience, but unsettled afterward. When the nervous system spikes too high without regulation, the body looks for distance to recover. That distance often gets interpreted by men as rejection, when it's actually self-protection. Stoicism warned us about this long before neuroscience did. Seneca wrote that pleasures which come from excess leave us poorer once they pass. Dopamine is excess. It takes more and more to feel the same effect. That's why men who rely on intensity end up escalating constantly while attraction quietly drains away. Real desire works differently. It's built on oxytocin and nervous system regulation. It grows when she feels emotionally steady around you, when there's excitement but also calm, when there's attraction but also containment. Consider Jason, 44, dating Nicole, 41. Jason used to think keeping things exciting meant constant stimulation. When he shifted to slowing down, letting moments breathe, and not chasing emotional highs, Nicole's behavior changed. She stayed longer. She opened up more. She initiated contact. Dopamine stopped driving the connection. Desire took over. Most men don't lose women because they lack passion. They lose them because they overload the nervous system and never provide a place for it to settle. Intensity without grounding feels unsafe over time. Here's the key distinction, folks. Dopamine makes her want the experience. Real desire makes her want the person. One fades when the novelty ends. The other deepens with familiarity. If you understand this difference, you stop trying to impress. You stop escalating for the sake of excitement. You focus on being steady, present, self-controlled. That's when attraction stops being fragile. If this clicked for you, drop this below to claim it. I choose depth. Stay with me. You won't want to miss what's next, because the next part reveals why calm presence can be more intoxicating than passion itself. Number 4. The calm that hooks her. This is where attraction stops being loud and starts becoming powerful, folks. Calm is the most misunderstood trait in modern dating. Men think calm is boring, passive, predictable. In reality, calm is what hooks her nervous system and makes her feel drawn back to you long after the moment ends. Here's the truth, my friend. Calm is not the absence of desire. It is desire under control. And control is what makes desire feel safe enough to stay. When you are calm, you are not emotionally chasing outcomes. You are not reacting to every shift in her tone. You are present without needing anything in return. That presence is rare. Most men try to hook women with intensity, big emotions, big gestures, big words. But intensity without regulation overwhelms the nervous system. It creates spikes, not bonds. Calm does the opposite. Calm slows the interaction just enough for her body to register safety. Safety is what allows attraction to deepen instead of burn out. Stoicism has always placed calm at the center of strength. Marcus Aurelius wrote that a man's worth is no greater than the worth of his ambitions. When your ambition is to stay grounded instead of chasing validation, your energy changes. You no longer pull at the connection, you allow it to move toward you. Calm hooks her because it removes pressure. She doesn't feel rushed. She doesn't feel evaluated. She doesn't feel responsible for your emotional state. Her body can relax. And when her body relaxes around you, she begins to associate you with relief. Relief is powerful. Relief creates attachment. Here's an important distinction. Calm is not emotional distance, it's emotional steadiness. You still engage, you still listen, you still respond, but you don't escalate emotionally just because you feel something. You don't need to lock the moment down, you let it exist. Seneca warned that the mind that is anxious about the future cannot enjoy the present. When you are calm, you are fully in the moment. That presence is felt. She senses that you are not mentally somewhere else worrying about outcomes. You are there with her. That alone sets you apart. Calm also creates contrast. When the world feels chaotic, fast and demanding, a calm man feels grounding. He feels like a place to land. Not a distraction, but a center. That center becomes attractive, not because it excites, but because it stabilizes. Many men resist this because calm requires self-trust. You have to trust that you don't need to push attraction forward. You have to trust that what's meant to grow will grow without force. That trust is what Stoicism calls inner sufficiency, and inner sufficiency is magnetic. This is also why calm men don't rush after intimacy. They don't fill silence. They don't seek reassurance. They let the experience settle. When the experience settles, bonding happens naturally. If you want to build this kind of calm consistently, not just understand it conceptually, consider joining the channel membership. That's where we break down how to develop real emotional regulation and self-mastery that shows up in your daily interactions, not just in theory. Here's what you need to remember, folks. Calm doesn't chase. Calm invites. Calm doesn't demand attention. Calm holds space, and the man who can hold space without losing himself becomes unforgettable. If this resonated, drop this below to lock it in. I stay grounded. Don't go anywhere. What comes next explains why emotional safety beats raw passion every single time. Number 5. Emotional safety beats passion. This is where a lot of men feel uncomfortable, folks, because emotional safety doesn't sound sexy. Passion sounds sexy. Fire sounds sexy. Intensity sounds sexy. But emotional safety is what actually keeps a woman bonded long after the excitement fades. And if you've ever been great in bed but still got replaced, this is why. Here's the truth, my friend. Passion creates moments. Emotional safety creates continuity. Passion excites her body. Emotional safety calms her nervous system. And when a woman has to choose between excitement that feels unstable and calm that feels grounding, her body chooses grounding every time. Think about Kevin, 46, confident, physically fit, dating after a divorce. He meets Lauren, 42. Their chemistry is strong, conversations are deep, sex is passionate, emotions run high. But Kevin is emotionally reactive. When Lauren pulls back slightly, he presses. He asks questions. He wants reassurance. Lauren starts feeling tense without knowing why. Passion was there, but safety wasn't. Now compare that with a different dynamic. Robert, 53, dating Michelle, 49. Robert isn't flashy, he's steady. When Michelle shares something emotional, Robert listens without interrupting. He doesn't rush to fix it. He doesn't make it about himself. He stays calm. Michelle feels something she hasn't felt in a long time. Relief. Her body relaxes around him. That relaxation turns into desire. Emotional safety is not about being soft or submissive. It's about being regulated. It's about not making her responsible for your emotional state. When she senses that your mood won't swing based on her behavior, her nervous system settles. That settling is powerful. Most men think women want to feel needed. In reality, women want to feel free. Free from managing your reactions, free from walking on emotional eggshells, free from carrying your insecurity. Emotional safety gives her that freedom. Stoic philosophy lines up perfectly here. Marcus Aurelius taught that a man should not be disturbed by things outside his control. When you embody that, you stop leaking anxiety into the connection. You remain steady even when things feel uncertain. That steadiness feels safe. Consider Jason, 38, dating Emily, 35. Emily opens up about a stressful situation at work. Jason's instinct used to be to jump in with advice and solutions. Instead, he listens and says, "That sounds heavy." He doesn't fix, he doesn't minimize. Emily feels understood instead of managed. That feeling deepens the bond more than any grand gesture ever could. Emotional safety also shows up after intimacy. Men who are unsafe emotionally often cling afterward. They talk more. They seek closeness to soothe themselves. Safe men let the moment land. They don't rush to define it. They don't tighten the connection out of fear. That space allows oxytocin to do its work. Here's the hard truth, folks. Passion without safety feels exciting in the moment but exhausting over time. Safety without passion feels boring, but safety paired with quiet desire creates something rare. A bond that lasts. Emotional safety doesn't replace attraction. It stabilizes it. It gives attraction somewhere to live. Without it, even the strongest chemistry burns out. If this sounds familiar, lock it in by commenting this below. I create safety. Stay with me. You won't want to miss what comes next, because the next part explains why some men are remembered long after others are forgotten. Number 6. Why she stays after. This is the moment most men misunderstand, folks, because they think staying is about what happened during the high point. The truth is simpler and harder to accept. She stays because of how she feels after everything settles, after the sex, after the conversation, after the excitement fades. That quiet aftermath is where decisions are made. Here's the truth, my friend. What lingers in her body matters more than what happened in the moment. If she leaves feeling calm, grounded, and emotionally unburdened, her system associates you with relief. Relief is not boring. Relief is addictive. It's the feeling the nervous system wants to return to. Stoic philosophy understood this long before neuroscience caught up. Seneca wrote that peace is the highest good because it allows all other pleasures to endure. Attraction works the same way. Without peace, pleasure becomes exhausting. With peace, pleasure deepens. Most men lose women not because they did something wrong, but because they leave emotional noise behind. Over-talking, over-analyzing, seeking reassurance, trying to lock meaning onto the experience. All of that creates pressure. Pressure makes the body want distance. She stays when there is no pressure to perform emotionally, when she doesn't feel responsible for regulating you, when your presence doesn't demand anything from her. That absence of demand is powerful. Marcus Aurelius reminded us that the mind should remain tranquil regardless of circumstances. When you embody that, you become a steady reference point. She can move toward you without bracing herself. That's why she stays. Another critical factor is containment. Containment means you can hold desire without spilling it everywhere. You don't rush to define. You don't rush to secure. You allow the experience to exist without commentary. That silence is not emptiness. It's space for bonding to occur. Epictetus taught that freedom comes from mastering impulses, not indulging them. When you master the impulse to chase closeness after intimacy, you communicate strength. Strength feels safe. Safety invites return. She stays because your energy doesn't spike and crash. It remains even, consistent, predictable in the right way. Her body learns that being near you doesn't require vigilance. There's nothing to manage, nothing to fix, nothing to anticipate defensively. This is why some men are unforgettable without being flashy. They don't overwhelm the senses, they settle them. They don't create drama, they create steadiness. That steadiness is rare in a world of emotional noise. Another reason she stays is emotional clarity. You don't send mixed signals through anxiety. You don't contradict your words with nervous behavior. Your actions align with your presence. Alignment creates trust. Trust deepens attraction. Stoicism teaches alignment relentlessly. Act according to your principles, not your impulses. When you do that, your presence feels clean. Clean energy lingers. Here's the part most men miss. She doesn't consciously decide to stay. Her body decides first. Her mind follows later. When her body associates you with calm, safety, and grounded desire, returning feels natural, no convincing required. This is not about doing less, it's about doing the right thing internally, regulating yourself, holding space, allowing silence, respecting the rhythm of bonding instead of forcing it. Remember this, folks. She stays when the connection feels easy on her nervous system, not intense, not dramatic. Easy in the deepest sense of the word. If this clicked for you, lock it in by commenting this below. I leave peace. Stay with me. You won't want to miss what's next, because the next part reveals the hidden bond most men never even realize they're creating. Number 7. The nervous system bond. This is the bond most men never realize they're creating, folks, because it doesn't show up as fireworks. It shows up as comfort that feels earned. The nervous system bond is what forms when a woman's body learns over time that being with you doesn't cost her emotional energy. And once that learning happens, attachment becomes automatic. Here's the truth, my friend. Attraction doesn't live only in the mind. It lives in the body first. A woman's nervous system is constantly scanning for signals. Is this safe? Is this steady? Do I need to stay alert here? When the answer is consistently no, something deeper than chemistry begins to form. Think about Andrew, 50, dating Monica, 46. Andrew isn't flashy. He doesn't dominate conversations or push intensity. What he does consistently is stay regulated. When plans change, he doesn't react. When Monica shares stress from work, he listens without trying to fix it. Over time, Monica notices something subtle. Her shoulders relax around him. Her breathing slows. She feels less guarded. That's the nervous system bond taking shape. Now contrast that with a different experience Monica had before. A man who was exciting, expressive, and emotionally intense. The sex was good. The conversations were deep. But afterward she felt drained. She couldn't explain it logically. Her body just wanted distance. No bond formed because her system never settled. Another example. Brian, 38, dating Laura, 34. Laura is attracted to Brian but cautious. Brian doesn't pressure her emotionally. He doesn't rush closeness. He doesn't demand consistency before it's natural. When Laura pulls back slightly, Brian remains steady. No coldness, no chasing, just presence. Laura starts feeling safer, leaning in. Her nervous system learns that closeness doesn't equal pressure. Bonding begins. The nervous system bond is built through repetition. Calm responses, predictable emotional pacing, consistent boundaries. Over time, her body associates you with regulation. That association is stronger than words, promises, or passion. Stoic philosophy explains this perfectly. Epictetus taught that tranquility comes from controlling what is within us and accepting what is not. When you regulate yourself, you become a stable reference point. Others feel that stability without needing it explained. This bond is why some men become irreplaceable, not because they are perfect, but because their presence feels easy. Easy doesn't mean boring. Easy means non-threatening, non-draining, non-chaotic. That ease allows desire to deepen instead of burn out. Most men try to bond through intensity. They think more emotion equals more connection. In reality, intensity often keeps the nervous system on high alert. High alert prevents bonding. Regulation allows it. Consider Tom, 55, married for decades, rebuilding connection with his wife Diane, 52. When Tom stopped reacting defensively and started staying calm during disagreements, Diane felt something shift. Conversations softened. Physical closeness increased. The bond strengthened not through passion but through safety. The nervous system bond also explains why women return without being chased. Their body remembers how it felt with you. That memory pulls them back. This is not manipulation, it's mastery. Mastery of yourself. When you govern your emotions, you influence the emotional environment naturally. If this resonates, lock it in by commenting this below. I regulate myself. Stick with me, because what comes next reveals how this bond becomes so strong that she starts choosing you without even thinking about it. Number 8. When she feels regulated. This is where attraction stops being a decision and starts becoming a reflex, folks. When she feels regulated around you, her body is no longer scanning for danger, pressure, or emotional instability. It shifts into a state of ease. And ease is where attachment quietly takes root. Here's the truth, my friend. Regulation is not something you say. It's something she feels. It shows up in how your presence slows the room down, how conversations don't feel rushed, how silence doesn't feel awkward. When she feels regulated with you, her nervous system is borrowing your stability. Most men don't realize how rare this is. The world she moves through is full of emotional noise. Men trying to impress. Men trying to be validated. Men trying to be chosen. All of that creates tension. When she encounters a man who isn't pulling on her emotionally, her body notices immediately. Stoicism has always pointed toward this state. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the mind becomes invincible when it is undisturbed by external events. When you are undisturbed internally, others feel it. Your calm becomes contagious. When she feels regulated around you, she doesn't feel the need to perform. She doesn't need to impress you. She doesn't need to manage your reactions. Her shoulders drop, her breath deepens. She becomes more herself. And paradoxically, that's when attraction deepens the most. This is why regulation beats intensity over time. Intensity keeps the nervous system alert. Alertness is exhausting. Regulation allows rest. And the body always returns to where it can rest. Epictetus taught that strength comes from governing what is within your control. Your tone, your pace, your reactions. When you regulate those, you regulate the emotional environment without trying. You don't need to lead emotionally by force. You lead by example. Here's an important distinction. Regulation does not mean emotional flatness. It means emotional containment. You still feel, you still care, but you are not leaking those feelings everywhere. You are not asking her to stabilize you. That difference is everything. When she feels regulated around you, conflict changes too. Disagreements don't escalate. Emotions don't spiral. She doesn't feel the need to defend herself. That safety allows honesty. Honesty builds trust. Trust deepens attraction. Seneca wrote that the greatest obstacle to living is expectation. When you release expectation, you stop pushing outcomes. That lack of pressure is felt. She doesn't feel pulled toward a result. She feels invited into an experience. Regulation also explains why women often open up more with certain men without knowing why. It's not because those men ask better questions. It's because they don't rush responses. They don't interrupt silence. They don't hijack emotion. They allow feelings to exist without trying to control them. This is not weakness. This is discipline. Discipline over impulse. Discipline over fear. Discipline over the urge to fix, explain, or escalate. Stoicism calls this inner order, and inner order creates outer attraction. When she feels regulated around you, she begins to associate you with peace. Peace doesn't kill desire. It anchors it. It makes desire sustainable. It turns attraction from a spike into a bond. Here's the key takeaway, folks. You don't convince a woman to feel regulated. You become regulated. Everything else follows. If this resonates with you, lock it in by commenting this below. I hold calm. Stay with me. You won't want to miss what comes next, because the next part reveals the subtle attraction most men overlook completely. Number 9. The attraction men miss. This is the attraction most men never learn to see, folks, because it doesn't announce itself. It doesn't look like lust. It doesn't look like excitement. It doesn't even look like romance. It looks quiet. And because it's quiet, men overlook it completely. Here's the truth, my friend. The attraction men miss is relief. The feeling of being able to exhale around someone. The sense that nothing is being demanded emotionally. When a woman feels relief in your presence, she begins to associate you with rest. And rest is where attachment grows. Most men focus on how to make her feel more excited, more desired, more stimulated. They push emotion higher and higher, thinking intensity equals attraction. What they don't realize is that intensity without relief becomes tiring. Her body eventually looks for a place to recover. Think about Jonathan, 47, dating after a long marriage. He meets Karen, 43. Jonathan is charismatic, expressive, and passionate. Dates are fun, conversations are deep, sex is intense. But after spending time together, Karen feels drained. She can't explain why. Jonathan always wants to talk things through, define the connection, and escalate closeness. Karen starts creating distance, not because she dislikes him, but because her system never rests. Now, contrast that with Michael, 54, who Karen later meets. Michael is calm. He listens more than he talks. He doesn't chase emotional highs. After spending time with him, Karen feels lighter. Her mind feels quieter. She finds herself thinking about him days later, wanting to see him again. Michael didn't excite her more. He relieved her more. That's the attraction men miss. Another example. Chris, 39, dating Amanda, 36. Chris notices Amanda is drawn to him, but he doesn't push. When Amanda opens up emotionally, Chris stays present without trying to solve or intensify the moment. He doesn't turn it into a deep emotional event. Amanda feels understood without being overwhelmed. She starts prioritizing time with Chris without consciously deciding to. Relief turned into attachment. Stoic philosophy explains this perfectly. Seneca taught that the mind naturally seeks what brings tranquility. When your presence brings tranquility, people return to it. Attraction doesn't need fireworks to last. It needs peace. Men miss this attraction because it doesn't feel dramatic. There's no rush, no spike, no obvious sign that says she's hooked. Instead, there's consistency. She stays longer. She initiates more. She becomes emotionally available without pressure. That's the signal most men misread or ignore. Relief-based attraction is powerful because it works beneath awareness. Her body decides before her mind does. She doesn't choose you because you impressed her. She chooses you because being with you feels easier than being without you. Consider Mark, 58, married for decades, trying to reconnect with his wife Elaine, 55. When Mark stopped reacting defensively and stopped trying to control emotional outcomes, Elaine's behavior shifted. She lingered in conversations. She touched him more. She opened up again. Not because Mark became exciting, but because he became safe and steady. Here's the hard truth, folks. Women don't stay with the man who creates the strongest feelings. They stay with the man whose presence feels sustainable. That sustainability is relief. This attraction is easy to miss because it doesn't feel urgent, but it's the one that lasts. If this resonates with you, lock it in by commenting this below. I bring relief. Stay with me. You won't want to miss what comes next because the final part brings everything together into the man women bond with deeply. Number 10. Becoming the man she bonds with. This is where everything comes together, folks. Becoming the man she bonds with is not about learning a trick or saying the right thing at the right moment. It is about who you are consistently, especially when nothing exciting is happening. Bonding is built in the quiet, not the peak. Here's the truth, my friend. A woman bonds with the man who feels emotionally reliable without being emotionally needy. Reliable does not mean predictable in a boring way. It means steady. It means she knows your reactions will not swing wildly based on her mood, her availability, or her choices. That steadiness creates trust at a bodily level. Most men try to earn bonding through effort. More attention, more availability, more emotion. But bonding does not come from adding more. It comes from subtracting instability. When you remove anxiety, pressure, and emotional urgency from your presence, space opens up for attachment to form naturally. Stoicism teaches this clearly. You cannot control outcomes, only your conduct. When you stop trying to secure a woman emotionally and instead focus on governing yourself, you become grounded. That grounding changes how you are experienced. You no longer feel like a question mark she has to solve. You feel like a place she can rest. Bonding also requires patience, not passive waiting, but inner patience. The ability to let connection unfold without forcing milestones. Men who rush labels, clarity, or reassurance interrupt bonding. Men who allow rhythm invite it. Rhythm is what the nervous system trusts. Another key element is internal sufficiency. When your sense of worth does not depend on her response, your energy shifts. You are no longer pulling something from her. You are offering presence without expectation. That absence of demand is what makes her lean in voluntarily. Becoming the man she bonds with also means being congruent. Your words, tone, and actions align. You do not say calm while acting anxious. You do not claim confidence while seeking validation. Congruence creates clarity. Clarity creates safety. Safety allows desire to settle and grow. This kind of man does not disappear emotionally, but he does not chase emotionally either. He is available without hovering, interested without clinging, open without oversharing. Those balances are not techniques. They are outcomes of self-mastery. Bonding deepens when she feels free in your presence, free to express, free to be quiet, free to change her mind. When she does not feel managed, corrected, or emotionally steered, trust builds. Trust is the soil where long-term attraction grows. Here is the hardest part for most men. You cannot fake this. Nervous system regulation cannot be acted. It must be lived. It comes from doing your own inner work. managing stress, handling disappointment, developing a life that feels full without external approval. When you become that man, something subtle but powerful happens. Women do not bond with you because you convince them. They bond because being with you feels right at a level deeper than logic. Their body knows before their mind explains it. That is the goal, folks. Not to be exciting for a moment, but to be grounding over time. Not to be unforgettable because of intensity, but because of peace. When you embody that, bonding is no longer something you chase. It is something that follows. All right, folks, let's bring this home. Today, we broke down why sex alone doesn't create lasting attraction, what women actually bond to at a nervous system level, and why calm, emotional regulation and inner control beat intensity every time. This video wasn't about tricks or manipulation. It was about self-mastery, becoming the kind of man whose presence feels grounding, safe, and deeply attractive over time. If you want to go deeper into this work and actually build these traits into who you are, not just understand them intellectually, consider joining the channel membership. That's where we focus on real, inner discipline, stoic control, and the kind of personal strength that changes how women naturally respond to you. If this video helped you see things more clearly, make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss what's coming next. Thanks for spending your time with me today. I appreciate you. I'll see you tomorrow.